When you really stop and think about it, the internet feels kind of magical, right? I mean, you tap a button on your phone and a video from halfway across the world just appears. How does that even work? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you how it actually works. And trust me, it's a lot simpler than you think. And hey, if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. For most of us, the internet is just something that works. We don't really see the incredible, lightning fast journey our data takes every single second of the day. The whole thing is so seamless, it's easy to just chalk it up to magic. But it's not. And here's the good news. Not only is it not magic, but the basic ideas behind it are surprisingly simple. Seriously, we're going to break it all down with a few really helpful analogies. And by the end of this, you'll have that aha moment and see exactly what's happening behind your screen. All right, so first things first, before we dive into the how, we've got to cover the what. What even is the internet anyway? That's it. At its heart, that's all it is. The internet isn't some weird, abstract cloud floating around in the sky. It's a real physical thing, a giant global network of wires and computers all hooked up to one another. The best way to picture it is to think of a huge planet-sized spider web. Every single device, your phone, your laptop, a giant corporate computer, is just a single point on that web. And the information? It just travels along the threads connecting everything together. Okay, so we're all connected on this massive web, but what happens when you actually want to do something like, say, look up a website? Well, that's where something called a server comes into play. Now, the word server sounds all technical and complicated, but it's not. A server is just a special kind of computer. It doesn't have a screen or a keyboard. Its one and only job is to store all the information for a website, all the text, all the images, and then send it out to you the second you ask for it. This is my absolute favorite way to think about it. Imagine you're in a restaurant. You're the customer, and you place an order. The server is like your digital waiter. It takes your request, goes to the kitchen, which is where all the website's data is stored, and brings the information right back to your screen. And these digital waiters, they never take a break. They're running 24/7. They're all housed together by the thousands in these enormous buildings called data centers, just waiting for you to make a request so they can deliver. So we've got you making a request and a server sending the information back. But how does that information actually travel across that giant global spider web to get to you? Well, here's the really clever part. It's not sent as one big, clumsy file. That would be way too slow. Instead, any piece of information, an email, a photo, you name it, gets broken down into thousands of tiny little pieces called data packets. Imagine you had to mail a completed jigsaw puzzle to a friend. You wouldn't try to mail the whole thing in one piece, right? No way. You'd break it apart, put each little piece in its own tiny envelope, and mail them all. Then your friend just puts them back together on their end. That is exactly how the internet sends information. Okay, so we've got thousands, maybe millions of these tiny envelopes flying across the web. How on earth do they know where to go? Well, just like a real envelope, each one needs an address. Every single device connected to the internet, your phone, your computer, your smart TV, gets a unique number assigned to it. It's called an IP address. You can think of it as the literal home address for your device on the internet. And without that specific address, it would be total chaos. The data packets would just be lost, floating around with nowhere to go, like a letter with no address on it. Your IP address makes sure that all those little pieces of the puzzle find their way directly to your device and nobody else's. So how do you actually get your device onto this network? Well, it's usually one of two ways, Wi-Fi or your mobile data. And here's the thing, they're just two different on-ramps to the very same highway. Wi-Fi connects through a router in your home and mobile data connects through cell towers, but they both plug you into the exact same global network. Different roads, same destination. All right, let's do a quick recap. We have the giant web of connections, the servers holding the data, the little data packets carrying the information, and the IP addresses telling them where to go. Now let's put it all together and follow the journey of one simple Google search. So you type pizza near me. Instantly, your phone breaks that request into tiny data packets. Those packets shoot across the network, often traveling through massive physical cables that lie on the ocean floor until they arrive at one of Google's huge data centers. A server there processes your request, finds the best pizza places near you in milliseconds, and then sends that answer back in new data packets, all addressed to your phone's unique IP address.
Your phone catches all the packets, reassembles them, and boom, pizza places pop up on your screen, all in the blink of an eye. It's amazing.
If you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this idea right here. This is the single analogy that ties everything we've talked about together perfectly. Think about it. Your device is your house. The server is a giant warehouse full of information. The data packet is the envelope. The IP address is your mailing address. And all the cables and routers connecting everything, those are the roads and the delivery trucks making it all happen. It's really just a giant postal system that operates at nearly the speed of light. And that's really it. Once you see it that way, the magic kind of disappears, and it's replaced with something that's honestly way cooler. It's not a mystery, it's just computers, all connected together, talking to each other at unbelievable speeds.
So we've demystified the internet of today, this incredible system of cables and servers that has completely changed our world. But that just leaves us with one final, fascinating question. If this is how the internet works now, what comes next?